Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is your host, Dave. I got line special guest, top alcohol funny car driver, Kyle Smith. How's it going, Kyle?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's Friday. It's the weekend. We're getting ready to keep working on our hot rods. So.
Yeah, today's Good Friday.
Yes, that's true.
Then, how you doing through this coronavirus stuff going on?
We're doing good. Staying safe. Luckily, I'm able to work from home during these crazy times as much as possible, and my parents, they're both staying safe, and the rest of my family as well. So, we're very blessed right now, and hopefully to continue that and kind of move past all this craziness.
So you keeping busy working on the funny car while you're at home?
Oh yes, very. It's always something, whether it be the funny car, the truck, the trailer. It's a never-ending job. So.
Yeah. So how did you get into drag racing in the first place, Kyle?
So growing up, my dad competed in top alcohol funny car in the 80s up to the early 2000s. So, kind of my fondest memories were growing up at the track. I remember, racing Hot Wheels down the back of the trailer gate, and just being around that. I remember, him being able to compete against some of the best, Randy Anderson, Tony Bartone, Cy Chesterman, Vern Moch, just all these guys that, are just prolific, guys when you think of alcohol funny cars. So it was always my dream and goals to kind of follow in his footsteps and, test the waters and see what I could do.
So your dad's your biggest inspiration?
Yeah, he is, most out. Growing up, he was, just a mechanic, just a mechanic at a local school district, didn't have tons of, funding and was always able to go and compete against some of those well-named teams, and I just remember him always, never giving up, persevering, just, kind of scratching and clawing his way to keep progressing his program. And, I'm very thankful. He instilled all those great qualities in me and really honestly chose to continue to, allow me to do this. Him and my stepmom are big parts of our operation. We're partners in this, and I'm just very lucky that they enjoyed as much as I did.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, besides your dad being your big inspiration, do you have any other drag racers that inspired you to get into drag racing at all?
Really, he was the main one. Obviously, there's tons of guys in the alcohol classes that I remember. But, honestly, it was just really trying to follow in his footsteps and then, see where we could take it.
So what year did you start driving?
My driving history is kind of a little bit different than most. Growing up, I didn't race juniors. I really didn't honestly take a car down the drag strip probably till I was in high school. We had a friend that had a Pontiac wagon that, him and my dad were good friends, and just kind of a street car, 14 second street car. So that was really the first car that I took down the strip. And that's really, got me started. And then for a high school graduation present, my dad at the time, he had a 41 Willys Pro Mod.
Car that your dad used to drive.
So in the late 2000s, he'd been doing it for about 20 years, and he was just, kind of like everybody says, he was, running out of people to help him, and I think he was just a little bit tired, so he ended up selling that. He took a couple years off, and he just couldn't resist. So after a couple of years off, the Pro Mod thing was kind of getting big. So we jumped back in. We bought a 41 Willys, and we did that. He really did that from middle 2000s to 2017, right up until, we kind of had the discussion, did I want to drive the Pro Mod or did I want to do something else? And like I said, it kind of was always the dream to do the funny car thing. So, we were kind of partners on the last Pro Mod a little bit. So we sold that, and I was able to buy the funny car from Bill Bernard and Tony Even, who at the time had been running a converter setup, which basically is what we had in the Pro Mod. So we were able to take the drivetrain from that, put it in, and kind of start from there.
Now the body on that funny car, what kind of body is that?
So it's a Mustang. It's an older one. It's a 2009 body, but the car's a proven car. It's Tony and Bill. They've been 549 with it, which is pretty stout for a converter car. I think it's probably the quickest converter car to date. And they've been great. They've really helped us get back to the funny car rules. The 92 over and really just been great to work with and help us kind of get our feet wet.
So how many passes have you made in that funny car?
I probably have made about 20 to 30 full track passes. So when you think about some of these other guys, I'm way behind on the number of full passes that I've gone down the drag strip. But at the end of last year, I really felt like I was getting more comfortable and getting up to speed. But I still have a long way to go to be as good as some of these other guys. But we're working on it.
So how many events did you run last year?
We went to 6 races last year. We went to 2 national events and 4 regional races. And we were really lucky. We qualified for all of them and really learned a lot. I think in May when I got my license, I went 588, and then by the end of the year, we finished up at the Dallas National, and we lowered that down to 560. So we were definitely able to progress, learn a lot. We weren't able to finish a couple races really just because we had some parts breakage, and that's kind of been the big killer for us is building up a spare parts backlog. Obviously, it's expensive, and we basically keep this funded on our own. So, this winter we've been trying to work on getting some more spare parts, and that way we can be more competitive and go to some more races. We're looking to hit 8 to 10 this year, barring obviously the virus and whatnot.
So currently you have no sponsorship?
We do. We have a few small sponsorships, some companies that help us. Molly Aftermarket, their parent company to Clevite. We run their bearings and rings. Dan Bagel there's been great to work with. He was really kind of the first one that jumped on and helped us out. And then NGK Spark Plugs, they joined here in 2020. So Leela has been great. She's obviously big with Randy Meyer Racing. They're another Kansas team, so we feel lucky to be part of them. And then obviously there's several companies that provide great support and products for us. One, B&J Racing Transmissions. We up until the funny car, we'd always run a Lenco. So Mike, Jeff, and Lindsay, and really the whole Strasburg family, they've been great, helping us get up to speed on the B&J and just answering some questions about different things we had. And Manly Performance, we run their valves, so Michael Pomeroy there's really worked with us, to get some spares. That was one of the items. We broke a valve at the Topeka Regional, and we didn't have any spare valves for our heads at the time. So, we've been working to get some more spares. Ken at Motorsports Unlimited, we get all of our valve springs, keepers, and retainers, and he's been a big advocate of our program. Neil Chance Racing Converters, so obviously, like I said, we run a converter in our car, so we're kind of one of the one of the few, between us, Bill Bernard's got a funny car again. And Phil Ez, I think we're the only three that run it in funny car, and then Dean Dubbin. Dean might be the only one that runs it in Alcohol Dragster right now. But Marty's been great to work with and gave us a lot of insight. Give Tech Pistons, we worked with them on our piston design and really got a pretty solid product there. DMP awning, so Dean Dubbin, top alcohol dragster driver, at the end of last year, he approached me and we had the logo on his car from back when Bill ran it, and we kept it on just because, we were friends and, got to know him. And, I'm thankful that he was willing to work with us and get awning for our trailer, which we're actually in the process of mounting and get that all finished. So that'll be nice to have for next year, or for this year, for the hot summers. And then I got a couple guys that, maybe don't sponsor by product wise, but they sponsor with their time. A couple local guys, Steve Rucker, he's been a friend of my dad's for years, helped him back in the 90s buy the Whipple for his funny car. He does a ton of machine work for us. He'll stop what he's doing and help us, make about anything. And then Kyle Lane's a buddy of mine. He does a lot of welding, carbon work. Another guy that's just, willing to help when he can. He'll stop what he's doing and do what he can. But then, honestly, last but not least, I'd like to thank the Nitcher family. They're really, been supportive of not only my success, but, they were helpful with my dad. They help on our car, John, Emily, and Wendy. They'll come and help crew on the car on the weekend. So, and then honestly, there's tons of other people that, I don't know that you call them sponsors, but at the end of the day, they've spent their time and helped us out in about every way possible. So it wouldn't be possible without them. So.
Now, who are all the main crew members that keep this car purring?
So, honestly, we kind of call it the crew member by committee. So really it's, myself, my dad, my stepmom. We really, we're kind of the main ones that maintain it between the races. Now the people that come to the race, like I said, the Nitcher family, John, Emily, and Wendy, they'll come when they can. Brett Lobel, he's another guy in town. He's always willing to come over and give us a hand when we need and go to the races. Dave and Shelley Wolf, Dave's been a friend of my dad's for years. He's actually the one that I drove his wagon back in the day. And then, Justin Sadoff and Bob Sadoff, they helped us out last year. And, hopefully I'll be able to get them out for a couple races. And then, honestly, there's several other friends I'm looking to have help us in 20. So, it just kind of depends on their work schedule, our work schedule, and what works for everybody. So. Right.
So how was your first time experience driving alcohol funny car?
It was great, man. I remember it kind of just like it was yesterday. We, I'd made a few passes in our pro mod, so I was obviously kind of a little bit familiar with the acceleration and that. But I just remember the first time setting the body down on a car. You feel like you're in that little capsule, and you just a different feeling than sitting in a pro mod. But honestly, it was letting go of that tranny button and just launching. I think that thing had a 970 60 foot, which at the time was pretty stout and pretty eye-opening experience for me. But so yeah.
So now, what's the quickest pass you made with the funny car?
So to date, I've been 560 at 257. So that's what we finished the year with last year. So, a pretty decent pass. When you think about some of these times these guys are running, and it was our first year back, doing the legal 92 over deal. But we're working on over the winter to find some power and make some changes. I think we'll be in the 50s this year, and hopefully consistently in the 50s. Just giving guys props. Obviously we're not a 30 car. With the converter, I think that's a little bit of restrictive where we can't lock it up like the clutch cars can. But I definitely think, barring conditions being right, I think we'll be able to get in the 40s. But if we run consistent low 50s at the end of the day, I think we're going to be competitive and win some rounds and hopefully some races.
Now, where do you go testing at? You go to Kansas International?
We don't. We haven't been there for a little bit. It's a great facility. They just got a new owner and they're really working to make some changes. We typically go to either Great Bend, which is a couple hours away, or Tulsa Raceway Park. I'm good buddies with Todd Martin, who's the owner at Tulsa, and they've been great. That's where I actually finalized my license. That was Tulsa, so they've been great to get us down there, and they do a great job. David Cook and Jimmy and the team prepping the track, and then like I said, we've also been out to Great Bend. That's kind of another spot where I made several laps testing, and Hank and his team there, they did a great job as well. So, those are kind of our two places. We've just got some ties to those guys, and they've really worked well with us.
Now, I see you're going to go out to Funny Car Chaos this year.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try to sneak over there and run a few races with them. Obviously it's a little bit different. The 8th mile to the quarter mile. But yeah, we're gonna kind of use it as some testing for the NHRA stuff, and look to have some fun. I mean, when you can get 20 to 30 funny cars at one event, and that's really the main show. I mean, what's more exciting than that? You get an alcohol clutch car against a nitro burning, fuel car. I mean, the variety, the nostalgia bodies, some of the new bodies. It's just a really cool concept. Chris and his wife and Bubba Corzine, those guys just have a great, series going. And yeah, we're gonna try to make a few and just go have some fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun for you going side by side with the Nitro and the big candlestick next to you.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I've always thought. Obviously I've always raced against other alcohol cars, but just the difference of a fuel car, and like you said, underneath the lights with the big flames over the hood. That's pretty cool. So
yeah, maybe you can give Kenny Singleton a run for his money with his alcohol cars. He's been dominating the Funny Car Chaos.
Yeah, I definitely would like a shot at him. He's a guy that's definitely got a hot rod that goes down any racetrack, and he's got a lot of smart people in his camp. And it's another automatic car, so his lights are good, and we'll definitely give him a run and see if we can't knock off the champion. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. So now, for you, when you're out on the track, Kyle, out on the starting line, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions when you're out there in the car?
I'm not really a superstitious guy. Never have been. Even growing up, I played soccer, and never really superstitious. I think for me, since I don't probably have the laps as everybody else, I tend to probably spend a little more time in the car. Even just before we go to the staging lanes, kind of going over my sequence. Just kind of making sure I'm prepared for anything that might get thrown at me. So that's kind of really what I spend a lot of time getting focused on. I do, I will put my boots on in a certain order, my gloves on, but that's just kind of something that I've always done, and walk around the car, and always check the parachutes, make sure the wheelie bar is in the right spot. So, that's kind of what I always do.
So now, what are your favorite tracks to run on?
A few that come to mind, obviously Brainerd International. It was up in Minnesota. It was one I remember going to as a kid with my dad. Just a great place. Where it's set at. All the trees, and that's kind of a one I enjoy. And honestly, where raced my first national event at. So it'll kind of have a place in my heart, but it's a great place, and the zoo's pretty cool experience to go to. And then Bandamere out in Colorado is another one. Just the Bandamere family themselves are great to deal with. They were great to my dad when he was racing, and just how it's kind of cut into the mountain there and all that. It's a great place, and it was where I competed in my first regional race, so it kind of has a near and dear place to my heart. And then I really liked Tulsa Raceway Park. It was a place we spent a lot of time with the Pro Mod, and they've done a great job. That track is probably one of the stickiest in the country, and like I said, we're good friends with Todd and that team, and it's another place that's where I finalized my license at. So to me, those three are kind of ones that always have a near and dear place to my heart.
Now, is there a lot of preparation in getting that alcohol funny car ready for a weekend of racing?
Oh, yes, there's tons of preparation. Dad and I spent a lot of time, just going over everything, making sure it's ready. Typically after a weekend of racing, we'll bring the car back. The blower and intake always come off. I'll pull the heads off. Pull the springs off. I'm checking spring pressures, checking valves, making sure they haven't stretched. Rods and pistons will come out. We'll look at pistons, make sure no rings are smashed or no galls on the piston. And really look at the sleeves, make sure everything looks good. Look at the crank and make sure the wear on the bearings look good. We really spend a lot of time in preparation. I think that's one of the things that helps us be successful is we try to go above and beyond. Making sure everything's as good as we can make it. Each engine component has a useful life, so every time the car goes down the track, we got a log sheet. We're logging how many runs each item has, and once it hits that point, it's coming out. Like rods come out between 20 and 25, and the crank comes out at 50 runs, and we mag it. And just things like that. We try to make sure we do as much as we can to prevent parts failure. Obviously, you're going to have something odd happen. Like I said, we broke a valve last year, and that was just kind of a parts failure thing. I don't think we could have prevented it. But there is a lot of preparation, and not even on the race car, just the truck and the trailer. Making sure everything's ready to go down the road and that.
Now, have you ever done any 8th mile racing?
I have not. I did, like I said, I made a few passes in our last Pro Mod, and they were to the 8th mile. I think I went like 440 or something. But yeah, really all the stuff I've done since I've had my license has been quarter mile. So
yeah, so the funny car chaos will be your first time doing 8th mile with a funny car.
Yes, it'll be a different process, because we may. Our car's really set up for quarter mile. We may, I don't know, we'll probably leave it alone and leave it in NHRA trim just to test with that. But yeah, I'll have to remember to get the chutes out a little earlier than I do now.
yeah, that'll help. Gotta shut her down.
Yeah.
Cause I know, like normally you do quarter mile, like when you get to the 8th mile spot area, that's about when you're starting to accelerate.
Exactly. Yeah, like you said, really once you get to 8th mile and on, you're just kind of hanging on for the ride, waiting to drop the chute. So it'll be just kind of speed that process up a little bit and get my mind around. Hit my shift points and get my chutes out and getting the thing stopped. So.
Yep. Now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
So I kind of have a hodgepodge of fire equipment. Being a low buck team, I try to search around for the best deals, and I do have. Last year I had to buy a new fire suit, so I bought a an impact fire suit. They were having a pretty good deal at the PRI show, so I went there and got all fitted up for my impact suit, and we got our gloves through them as well. They've been really great. And then I went with Stroud boots. The one thing I liked about the Stroud boots is they had the hard sole on the bottom, instead of just the leather. So that was kind of nice to be able to walk around a little bit, not totally tear off the bottoms. And then for my helmet and head restraint, I have Simpson. So the helmet and the head restraint were both my dad's when he drove. So it just kind of made sense. I thought I'd just keep them. No reason to buy something different. It worked for him. It works for me.
Now for the blower, you have a screw blower?
Yep. We have a PSI screw blower. So really, I think anymore that's all that the alcohol classes, the funny car and dragsters run. So it's a good piece. We bought it from Jeff Jones and Brandon Pez. Jeff had a funny car a few years ago, and he got out of that world. They've been in the pro mod world, but they've been real great to us. So we were able to pick up this piece from them, and it's a solid piece, So
now, what kind of tires are you running on the car?
Say that again.
What kind of tires are you running on the car now?
We run Hoosier tires on the rear. They seem to be what works best with the alcohol cars. We do run a non-bead lock, so it's got a liner inside of it on the rear that kind of seems to help with the shake a little bit. Getting cars through the shake zone. So.
Now, have you ever ran any other tire brands on that car?
Not on our car. Back on the pro mod early on, my dad did run some good years, but honestly, it seems like for the alcohol stuff, the Hoosier's been good to work with, and we've had good success with them. So we just kept with them.
Now, in your short time driving the funny car, have you reached any milestones yet?
I would say, obviously, for me, some milestones that I had last year were obviously finalize my license, qualify for a regional and national event, which I both did. Win a first round at a regional race I was able to do. Haven't won that first round win at a national event. We're looking to have that this year. And then I did go to the semis in a couple regional events. So those were some big milestones I had. I think some more milestones this year will be to win a round at a national event. And then, obviously we're looking to win. We're looking to win a regional event, looking to win a national event. But, those will come, I think as we progress and continue. I got a long way to go to be a driver that's competitive. I gotta do my job on the tree, and my dad's still getting up to speed on tuning it, and so we're kind of learning together. We're getting there, but those are a couple ones we're looking to accomplish this year.
So how fast are you hoping to get her up to this year?
We'd like to at least get in the low 50s. If the conditions are right, might sneak a low or a high 40s. But I think, we're looking to get over 260 miles an hour. I mean, I think obviously look, all the clutch cars run in the 270s, so we're not going to be a 270 car with our setup, but we should definitely be in the 260. So, we've kind of got those, looking to pick up a little bit. So.
Now, being one of the new kids on the block in Top Hawk or funny cars, do you get advice from some of the other veterans that are in there?
I haven't, but not saying they wouldn't give me if I asked. Obviously, my dad's a pretty good guy to have in your corner. He's experienced a lot, and he's helped me out a little bit. And he's definitely always helping me be better and coaching me up. And I would say another guy, Bill Bernard. He was very helpful. for me, obviously, the B&J and the quick drive setup was new to us, opposed to the Lenko drive. So kind of just getting my sequence, how to get the car in and out of gear. It was a little bit different than the Lenko drive. So he's been great. And like I said, him and Tony have been real helpful. Just figuring that whole combination out. So.
Now, do you get that feeling like all the other drivers do that the funny car, drag racing is just one big family for you?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
No, I said you get the same feeling that a lot of the other drivers get, that the all the drivers all become just one big family for you?
Oh yes. These guys out here are great. Shane Westerfield, I've run against him a few times. He's great. He's a great driver. He's won a world championship. Raced Doug Gordon at Brainerd. I had a little problem on the Christmas tree, and I had to apologize to him down at the end of the track. I couldn't get the car in gear, and I held him up just a little bit. But it's great. Not even just the funny cars, the dragsters as well. The alcohol classes, like you said, one big family. And I think honestly, if they could help you out, anybody would help you. So I do enjoy racing all of them.
Yeah, hopefully Doug will be back.
Yeah, he's got a great hot rod, that Johnny Lindbergh car. They brought that out new this year, and that thing was on a rail at Pomona.
Yeah. A lot of drivers, they'll if you need a part, they'll give you a part off the car, even if they're going against you, to give you a part so you can keep going.
Yeah, like I said, I think I know at Topeka, Bill Bernard came over and they offered us some parts to help. We just didn't have some other parts to help. But yeah, you hear about it all the time. Everybody's helping everybody, and it's great and fun to be around. So.
Now, in the short time you've been doing the top Alcohol funny car field, do you have a greatest competitor out of those guys that they're all pretty much equally competitive for you?
Yeah, to me, they're all equally competitive. I just think of myself as the underdog, so really whoever squares up in the other lane, at the end of the day, I feel like they're supposed to beat me, so it's just added incentive when I'm able, to beat them. But they're all great, and.
All right, now I'm gonna ask you a few fun questions here.
All right.
Outside of doing alcohol funny car driving, do you have any other hobbies?
I really don't. I work a lot at work, and when I'm not at work, I'm usually in the shop working on the car, or just working on something. Whether it be making sure I have everything I need for a weekend of racing or whatever it is. I do enjoy going to the gym and staying active, but other than that, it's work and thinking about the funny car and how we can be faster or be better.
So you don't play video games at all?
I don't, man. Growing up, I never really played video games. I had friends that played a lot of them. My focus when I was younger, I played a lot of sports. I played soccer, I played baseball, I ran track, I did cross country, and really I spent a lot of time focusing on perfecting those. And then honestly, it paid off. I was able to get a soccer scholarship in college, and that really helped pave my way to pay for college and help me get where I am. So.
Have you ever gone fishing?
I have. It's been years. I remember one trip in specific. I remember a kid. My cousin and my grandmother. We went up to visit some cousins in North or South Dakota. I'm drawing a blank, but we took a fishing trip with my uncle and just caught, tons of crappie and had a big fish cookout afterwards. But that's really one that sticks out when we went fishing. So.
Now, if you were able to time travel and go back in the time, would you do anything differently with your racing career?
the only thing I think I would do different is maybe try to, get in the driver's seat a little bit sooner. Maybe spend a little bit more time in the garage and just learn a little bit more earlier. But other than that, I look back and honestly, I had a lot of fun and learned a lot and had a pretty good youth behind me. So.
Now, can you think of one most embarrassing moment you had on track?
I can. So I remember this was early on in the licensing passes, and we were at Great Bend, and I'd just done my burnout, and I was backing up from my burnout, and I'd stopped, and I was getting ready to pull back forward to take the Christmas tree, and I went to go reach up to pull my shift levers or my shift buttons to put it in low gear, and I killed the car. We have a kill switch on our steering wheel. Well, so they hurried up and restarted the car with the starter, batteries, and everything, and so I went ahead and staged the car and left. Well, and all the craziness of doing that, I forgot to put the car in low gear, so I left in high gear. So it was just a complete dud. I get down to the end, and my dad comes around the corner, and he said, "Man, that thing ran terrible." And I said, "I know." It didn't dawn on me, honestly, until I got back to the pits. Well, yeah, you big dummy, you forgot to put it in low gear. That's why it ran so slow. So that's probably the biggest thing I think to myself, man. That was pretty embarrassing, but. Hey, I haven't done it. I haven't done it since, and I haven't left in high gear. So I guess I learned from my mistake.
Yeah, at first I thought you were going to tell me you were backing up to the tree, and I thought you were going to say you knocked the tree over.
No, I'm not. I back up fairly straight most of the time, but
now that would be embarrassing.
Yeah, they might not let you back to a track after that.
So now, what would you consider to be your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh, I would probably say I'm a big Mexican guy. I probably eat Mexican and that as much as I eat anything else.
They got good Mexican food out there in Wichita?
We really do. We have a few pretty authentic restaurants that really do a good job, make homemade salsa and homemade guacamole. So I could definitely eat that.
Now, what's your favorite beverage to drink?
If it's non-alcoholic, it's really I drink water. When I was in high school, I had a coach that made us stop drinking pop for a season, and it just kind of stuck with me. I haven't really picked up. Occasionally, I'll have a sip of pop, but I probably haven't had a 2-liter of pop since I was in high school. If we're talking adult beverage, I just enjoy a good beer every once in a while.
You have a favorite beer?
I'm a Corona. The Corona Premier is pretty good. I do enjoy those.
So now, do you drink any you drink Gatorade or juice or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I'll drink Gatorade. Typically when we're racing, it's water and Gatorade, but typically and every day at work, it's just water for me. But I do enjoy iced tea. So.
I know. Do you have a favorite movie of all time?
I don't really have a favorite one that sticks out. I'm kind of a I enjoy all movies based on true stories. Kind of any sporting movie that's based on a true story. I think of Rudy or think of The Blind Side or just any of those. Recent one, Ford versus Ferrari, was kind of a good one that I recently saw. But yeah, I just enjoy kind of that true story, inspirational setting.
You have a favorite music?
Not really. I kind of listen to it all. It just really depends on my mood. What I'm feeling. Anything from country to rock to some classical. It's just kind of whatever mood I am. Or typically, probably you'll catch me listen to just some country while we're working in the shop or some of that. So.
Now, when you grown up as a kid, did you have a favorite cartoon to watch?
I didn't. That was another thing. Growing up, I didn't spend a lot of time watching TV. I was always outside, playing one of my sports or whatever. But, I think I spent a little time watching Nickelodeon, but I can't really think of one that comes to mind that was my favorite, my go-to. So.
All right. Now, when you're at the track on race day, do you eat light or do you eat regular meals?
I really eat pretty light. I kind of really just try to snack throughout the day. Eat things with good protein. I eat a lot of peanut butter. I eat peanuts and kind of really try to just snack throughout the day. We'll stop for lunch, maybe get a sandwich or something. But I don't really eat too heavy when I'm driving. But once we're over for the night, we'll have a good meal. But yeah, just try to snack sporadically throughout the day.
Yeah, at the end of the night, you could have a good meal with ice cold Corona.
There you go. Exactly.
Now, do you have a fondest memory of your drag racing history so far?
I'd say really just qualifying for my first regional, first national are probably the fondest I have currently. And honestly, any opportunity that I get to go to the track with friends and family is a memory that I always remember. So, obviously we're looking to make some fonder memories this year, and like I said, maybe bring home a Wally if we're lucky.
Now, do you have a biggest pet peeve?
I do, and I talk about this with my parents all the time because it seems to be an issue more and more. One of the things that drives me crazy is if you say you're going to do something, do it. It drives me crazy when I have I'm working with a vendor and they say, hey, well, we're going to ship this out today, and it doesn't go out today, or to me it's just be honest. If you can't get it out today, well, just tell me. I understand that, but do what you say you're going to do. So
right. Now, if people want to follow you, see where you're going to be racing at, what's the best way for people to follow you?
Yeah, so you can follow us on Facebook. It's under Smith Racing Top Alcohol Funny Car, and then you can also check us out on Instagram. I think it's under my name on Instagram. It's Kyle.Smith.Racing552. So
awesome. Well, Kyle, I want to thank you very much for taking time to do the interview.
Hey, man, I really appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to get together, and thanks for taking the time for me. And hopefully we'll be able to do this later this year, and I'll have some more success stories for you.
Yeah, we'll do a follow-up.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Awesome. Well, you have a great rest of the evening.
All right, man. You too. We'll talk soon. Stay safe.
And have a happy Easter, too.
Hey, thank you. You too.
Anybody listening out there, too, have a happy Easter this Sunday. So, well, thanks again, Kyle.
All right. Hey, thanks, Dave.
Yeah. All right. Bye.